Hello, you are listening to the Natural Healing Show for UK Health Radio. I'm your host, Catherine Carrigan, medical intuitive healer, Amazon #1 best-selling author. You can find out more about me and my work at catherinecarrigan.com and unlimitedenergynow.com. While you're there, definitely sign up for my newsletter so you can learn even more about how you can heal yourself naturally. Now, our guest today is another fellow intuitive. Michael Andre Ford is an angel intuitive, and he is the author of Listening to Angels, and he hosts a podcast called Angels, Positivity, and Love. And you can find out more about Michael Andre Ford and his wonderful work at his website, Michael Andre Ford. Welcome, Michael Andre Ford.
Thank you so much for having me on again, Catherine. It's good to see you.
Now, Michael Andre Ford, you and I love working with the angels, talking to the angels, communicating with them regularly, and we use them in our work. How can we use angels for healing?
It's pretty easy. It's easier than we think because this isn't about thinking word structure or doing it any one particular way. You do have to set your intent, which just means being in your heart. It means getting out of everything you know, including whatever you're asking about healing for. Usually we become attached to the situation, the disease, the condition. We've told the story sometimes, if it's been years, 1,000 times, 10,000 times. We're reinforcing the concrete that surrounds the illness. So if you really want change, it's a change in consciousness, which is nothing more than a light switch on the wall behind us. It's a change in consciousness because you need to get from here to here. And for some of us, it's a lifetime, others decades. For some of us, we've gotten very good on the business front, being able to drop to our heart. But when you're in the heart already knows what to do. The heart is ready to get living, get going living and having more fun. The heart's ready to be whole again and to be healed. And you can ask the universe, ask angels for assistance, hugs, if you want to call it hugs that can become healing or full-on healing. It just depends where you're at on this entire topic. If you're unsure about angels, just know that you're being supported, that you can ask and receive. So it's really allow, ask, and receive. And I do need to do one caveat. Sometimes when we've come into this world, we're having a fantastic, unique life path that we've chosen. Sometimes we have events, diseases, situations that are written, that's part of our game plan. Now, angels can alter your path. So I don't want to put it too strongly one way or too strongly the other, but you can ask and receive healing. Colorblind people have seen color. You can, sometimes if it's written and you've got a very serious disease, let's say it involves shaking, you could still ask for relief on some of the shaking. That's really a conversation for you to have in these, with these universal beings of light. We're, again, here to support you. You might find out that just by asking and allowing, you can get the shaking to be reduced by 50%. That's just something, again, that's entirely upon you. It's for you to ask for. It's for you to receive. It has nothing, I just set up the table, so to speak. You have to sit there and receive the hospitality.
Okay, this is great information. Now, Michael Andre Ford, you and I both work with angels. But for somebody who might be listening, they're like, who are angels? What are angels? What's your experience?
Sure. Well, angels come in all sizes, shapes, colors, backgrounds, and are just here to help us, but not to interfere. Big difference. So let's switch it a different way. The view might be that you're living absolutely the best moment every moment along your current life path. So if you never talk to angels, you're perfectly fine. Trust that. Trust that you're okay right now in this very moment. And to throw a hand grenade into the entire conversation, let's put it a different way. You can be happy now in this very moment without a single reason in the world. That's not with angels' assistance. That's you dropping into your heart, connecting to all there is inside you and around you, and being maybe that 5-year-old again, or when you were on the pitch, the soccer field, and you were scoring 4 goals in a row. You've never skipped a beat, lost anything. You're whole and perfect as you are right now. Now, good luck with that. We have to pay bills. We've got health situations and everything else. Angels are standing by. You're fully supported. Your relatives, guides, unconditional love figures, you're heard. So simply trust that angels exist. Allow this to be. and see what happens. You can get answers, you can get hugs, the hugs can become healing, and you can see full on standing there or as little bits of light, or even in full on human form. We'll get to that later.
Great explanation. I would like to add, this is my experience, not that I know anything, but my experience is that each of us has angels, spiritual guides. So it's my experience that if you're alive as a human, believe it or not, you actually have an angel team, and they're with you, they're surrounding you, they're literally in your energy field. They're right around you every day, 24/7. And your angel is a good way to think about your angels. And I'm not talking about archangels, I'm talking about your angels, is that they're already experts at what you're here to do. So, for example, I have an angel at the back of my head that's an angel of peeling. And what it allows me to do is to peel away layers so that I can see the truth in any situation when I'm doing medical intuitive readings. And I have another angel that's for self-expression. So back to you. So you've got these angels who are around you. And part of what we want to do when we're using angels for healing is to deepen our personal connection and improve our communication with these spiritual beings. And in addition to that, then you've got the big guys, the archangels. So, Michael Andre Ford, any more advice or comments about personal angels that are around us?
Sure. So everyone has an angel team, like you said. And I always like to do a fun metaphor, which is think of a stretch limousine. Your Secret Service agent is your guardian angel. They don't leave your side, and they're in you and around you, whichever way you need to think about this. Remember, there's 7 billion people with 7 billion different versions of the same reality, and yet it's all one big world of love. Love is the fabric of the universe. That guardian angel's with you in the back of the limousine. The whole point is you have a life stage angel who's driving the limo. Now, a life stage could be 2 minutes, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 2 decades if you're like the dog that doesn't want to go for a walk. You're a slow learner. But life stages aren't meant to necessarily be lesson oriented. I don't want to get too stuck on structure in any one way. And if you were the type who's gung-ho about lessons, you went out and learned the 5 lessons, splickety split, you might get 25 more right on the spot. So it's really not about that either. And it's less structure or hierarchy than you'd think. Archangel Michael, a Charlotte, and a Rebecca, I almost forgot, are my business managers. They're all available, even if your team changes up depending on what life stage. What Catherine was just saying, if you've mastered something, you were supposed to learn something as you're growing and constantly expanding in spite of all of our adulting. As you change, as you learn, as you expand, angels come and go. It's not that you can't write a postcard or chat with them anytime you want. And vice versa, but you'll get new angels coming in with new areas of background, specialties who are here to help. So if you want to view this as a one-dimensional thing, which is a little ironic that I'm saying it that way, just simply outbound, which is what we're doing all the time. When you have a thought, most of it we don't realize is neutral or a little bit negative. When you speak, you're wrapping your words around energy, whether it's positive energy, neutral, or negative, and you're sending it out to the universe saying, this is what I want. So careful with the judging, reacting, fear, stress, worry, doubt, guilt, all the lower vibrations. It just comes right back to you. That's not where you should be nesting. If the more you can just let go of thinking or focus on the positive, 7% less thinking a week is the Olympic gold medal here. We're not talking much, 2.5 hours a day. But ask for angels to come in. That's the key. Trust that you're heard. And the second you get over the whole phenomena is the second you start hearing, receiving feathers, seeing little signs, getting just a touch, a sudden whoosh of ocean air, and you're in the middle of the desert. Lots of interactions. You just have to ask for it. You truly have to be in your heart to receive it. And so you can't be there with a magnifying glass playing Sherlock Holmes, doubting the whole situation, doubting yourself, and wondering, is any of this possible? And if you are like that, you're okay right the way you are. It would be like wanting to learn how to swim. You're actually going to have to get in the pool, and you'll probably need an instructor if you don't know how to swim.
Great explanation. Now, Michael Andre Ford, Angel Intuitive, as you know, Archangel Raphael is often associated with healing. what is your experience with Raphael?
Well, that's a great question. I love it. It's very ironic that I'm getting asked this in an interview. There's 100+ angels. It's way more than that if we count everybody else's angels. You know, you have a team, you have a guardian angel. So I've met a lot of angels. There's maybe 170 figures if you throw in Mary, Jesus, Plato, Mother Teresa, you know, figures from India, Native American chiefs, and so on that people can meet, Einstein, Gandhi. When we get back to angels, when I'm asking, hey, who should I ask for healing from? Raphael and Mack, don't call her Mackenzie, are my two angels that I'm instructed, you know, by other angels to ask for healing from. So it's first time I don't, you know, I might look like I know something. It's exactly what you said at the beginning. I'm still learning. I try not to take anything too seriously, but Mack and Raphael are the two that I ask for healing from all the time. And Raphael definitely, I have a photo of archangels here. Raphael is in this, one of the 4 triangles. That's Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel. There's 3 more cropped out that are Zadkiel, Jophiel, and Shamiel. And again, to go back to sort of my absorption on this, the last 3 names that I just mentioned were so hard to learn. It took me a couple extra years. I'm not a detail guy, and this isn't about the details. This is about, don't worry about any of this. If you retained only one thing, or watch her program a couple more times, there may be some exercises later you can take part in. What do you do when you go for a walk? Do you enjoy the walk? When you brush your teeth, where are you? Either you're worrying about something or you're actually just in the moment, tuning out. When you flip a light switch, did you do it perfectly? Probably. I don't hear anybody worrying about the light switch they flipped a week ago, calling a cousin, calling a friend, having a chat in the lawn with the neighbor. Did I flip that light switch just right? I think I was too fast. I think I was too slow. That's the type of analysis we do on all the quote important stuff. And that's the thing that I'm talking about that doesn't do any good. Like, the more you can learn to be at peace, cultivate your own authentic presence, your love, your vibe. You have to use your lingo. Catholics say it one way. If you're Buddhist or from India, you might have a different way that you speak, but we're all pointing the same direction, which is you. You have a bigger you, a huge heart, connected to a soul. If I can say that, you can see your soul. It's like aurora borealis in the sky. But the more you let go, the more you flow, and the more you find even the little tasks might be fun. It's that mindfulness, that meditation thing. It's the intersection of all right here. And when you're here, you'll find your unique life path jumps back out at you with the help from angels, your guides, your passed over relatives. You're being looked out for.
Now, you mentioned our Angel Mack. Okay. So tell us more about Angel Mack. Who is Angel Mack?
Okay, well, don't call her Mackenzie. She's a green ball of light. She's everything plants, animals, and nature. That doesn't mean she can't answer an astrophysicist's question if they're trying to work on their scientific formula. She's one of 2 surf guides. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a concept. There's Mac, and here's her photo. And you could put your hand out like this if you're out there watching this. If you're not, and you're just listening, go ahead and ask for a nature smell. Find your happy center spot in your heart, whatever you would do for a yoga class before you started the class, before you stepped onto the pitch or the soccer field to kick the ball. You probably have a ritual, a way of slowing down, a way to become the athlete, the yoga person, so that you can kick butt and have a great yoga session, or golf. Find a way to get to your heart, put your hand out to the photo, feel sparkle, feel a high vibe on your palm, your fingers, up and down your back. Maybe it's your toes, but maybe you'll catch the scent of flowers. It's wisteria, and it's not quite that time for wisteria to smell so amazing. So you can't go running to your window and look out the window. It's just not possible. There's snow outside. The wisteria hasn't bloomed yet. What will you allow for is what we're getting at time and time again with a lot of these questions, because angels are way beyond our grasp, way beyond the human existence thinking thing. And what's so beautiful is they just want to allow us to be as we are. No great big shift, nothing to worry about, no Christmas Carol experience in the middle of the night. You're not going to get plagued by the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future, although there can be a little bit of work to get you to pay attention. Might be an illness, car wreck, job loss, divorce. Sometimes those things kick in a very important way. And the real question there is, are you paying attention?
Great information. And with that, let's take a break and listen to one of our commercial sponsors here at UK Health Radio. And we'll be right back with Angel Intuitive Michael Andre Ford and learning even more about how you can heal yourself naturally with angels. So, Michael Andre Ford, I really appreciate you brought up the unexpected aspect of healing, because a lot of times when we get sick, it's unexpected. It's like you go to the doctor, you get some diagnosis, or you, like my best friend, she was walking and tripped her and sprained her ankle. Or, some another friend recently fell over a cat toy in her living room and broke her hip. So a lot of the healing experiences that come upon us in our lives are unexpected. But as we're talking about, and it's my personal experience that often these illnesses and these diseases can be what I call a breakdown to a breakthrough. So you're at a place in your life and things don't seem to be working, so you have to reach out for your angels. I remember once, I think I was about 30 years old at the time, and I was going through a really hard time in my life. And I woke up one morning and I literally, quite literally, heard the angels singing to me. And I knew immediately it was the angels. And it was like this beautiful holy choir. And as soon as I heard them, I knew that my troubles were over. And they were. It was quite amazing. So, and Michael Andre Ford, as you know, talking to people, for so many people, the healing process can be drudgery. You go to the doctor, it's very scary. They draw blood, they x-ray you, and then you have to wait for these lab results. And all kinds of things get measured, and it can be scary. It can be completely emotionally disruptive on all levels. How can healing with angels be fun?
Disease, illness, health situations, sudden ones, painful ones, are an opportunity for us to slow our roll, to pump the brakes, a little less thinking up top, which a lot of time when we're faced with a broken ankle, a broken hip, something serious, COVID, it can sometimes accelerate our thinking. We'll sort of go faster to try to do triage mentally, but it's the opposite that's necessary. The body knows what to do to heal. It's going to get outside help from doctors and so on, or whatever the path is that you're supposed to take. But ultimately, it's a time for you to cultivate your inner self, so to speak. I had a broken ankle at one point. It helped shift everything in a bigger way. I was told by angels that I'd be able to run again. I'm a runner for 40 years. I was told I'd be able to run like 100-mile week a year later. Sure enough, I did. I got a pin in there. My surgeon was like Celine Dion. Her crew was fantastic, her physical crew, but she got to meet angels. Audrey Hepburn, wonderful people to meet. I wouldn't want to do it again, but it ended up changing my externals in terms of my living situation and balance sheet and stuff like that. So it was a wonderful transformation. Again, I wouldn't want to do the broken ankle again, but getting COVID in Hawaii just this past December, a couple days into a beautiful trip, another show host had us out there. I dropped, and I had my highlight of the trip is this tall, mysterious-eyed doctor who got me on Paxlovid, and it saved my butt. But it kept me out of the water, and it allowed my partner in crime to chat up with those guests. She already had immunity and stuff like that, and kept her distance just in case. But the point is, it was really meant for her to spend time with those folks. I was in a bed the whole time, but it kept me out of the water. Now, why am I mentioning that? It was shark season out there, big time. Somebody got munched at our first hotel, literally gone, just a little bit of snorkel and bathing suit. A tiger shark got that person. I could have been snorkeling out there, or up in Kaanapali in Maui. I was going to be a whole football field over bodyboarding every single day. And I literally saw an 18-foot shark, probably a great white, breach out of the water. So if the tail is here and this is the water level, there were at least 3 feet of space for an 18-foot shark that had been plowing around in the water like a nuclear sub displacing water. So if I had to read into it, the plan changed from surf a lot to keep me out of the water. And then I got some immunity out of it. So who knows? Maybe there's an event coming up in the next 3 weeks that I don't know about. But everything for a reason. And think about how fast we go in the brain. It could be relationships, health, work, stress. We find stuff to stress about. Even if work, love life, career, everything was going great, we'd still find ways to stress. The opportunity in life, the whole point of the journey is to find a way to love more and allow more. So forget about angels. Are you living enough? Are you smiling enough? Are you laughing enough? Your laughter is hope and joy to others. And you're saying hi to a complete stranger. So how are you rolling with your energy is ultimately the crux. What are you even allowing for before the concept of angels? Now, if you don't have an answer for that, or you haven't done any self-analysis, you don't know yourself, welcome to the club. That's all of us. The cool opportunity is there's never too late to get started. So you mentioned being, I think, 30. So this is 6 years ago when you had that illness. It's never too late to get started living, loving, having fun, and you might as well do it. Ask for angels' help. Ask for signs that'll break through, because we have a sense of reality, concrete. We know this, but if you look back 10 years ago, most of what you believed back then has shifted, changed. You're no longer a fan of this sports team. Now it's this sports team. You've switched where you live. Everything's changing all the time. The job of ego, our thinking, our structure is to lock it down. And so what I'm just trying to put out there is trust a little more that there's something bigger just beyond the grasp of everything we know. Put a few poker chips on the table and bet on, let's make up the number, red 11 for the heart. Place that bet on red 11 and ask the universe to come up every time on red 11. Ask for help, ask for signs, ask for answers. The person who's bold in the shower suddenly hears a voice. I mean, think of it this way. Half your intuition is angels and your guides and your family members talking to you. But if you're a golfer, if Aunt Sally, who's passed over, was your favorite relative, like a second mom to you, you're about to take a swing and Aunt Sally's voice came in, you would shank the ball. That's why it has to sound like your voice. Now, if it's the voice that tells you to jump in someone else's jag you don't know, go 110 miles down to the next village, that's probably not an angel or anybody positive. So remember, there's a lot of different energies out there. And if you ask, how do you know which energy is which? How do you know a good cup of tea or a good cup of coffee or a good vacation? You just know. When you're here, everything's simple, clear-cut, clarity. So find a way to cultivate your own dropping to your heart. Yoga is great. Mindfulness, a good book. There's a million ways to get to your heart, and there's 6 million ways to stay out of your heart, stay busy, worried, in pain. Right now, I've got a little bit of a wrist thing going on that's helped me slow my roll the last 4 weeks.
Now, what are the best angels for emotional healing? Because we can think about physical healing, like spraining your ankle or breaking your hip, but there's also times when maybe you're suffering from a broken heart, or you're depressed, or you're anxious. What are the best angels for emotional healing?
That's a yes, no, and maybe, in that you have your own angel crew. Plus, there's tons of angels ready to come in just to help. Ask the angel who's going to be able to the most help you in this moment with respect to fill in the blank to come in. The real question is, how far can you go into that heart of yours that knows no limits to suddenly feel an extra bit of calm or relief, or ask for a ocean smell? How bold could you be for allowing? So maybe practice sitting still. If 5 minutes works, 10 minutes, sit outside, go for a walk, sit under a tree, touch a tree, hug a tree. It could be the shower. Shower and dog walks tend to be our most creative possible opening sort of moments. So it's really getting to know yourself and how you're going to get around your dynamics, your mechanics. You have a bunch of jailers. You're thinking that they don't really jail you or lock you up, but it's going to feel at times like you're in a cell where you know what you know and you're not happy. You're holding onto the window, the bars in the window, and you're looking out thinking, oh, I've got a lack and I want to be over there and I'm not there. I want to be at point B and I'm at point A. Very rarely do you look back and see the jail cell door open. All you have to do is walk right out. In a second, you can have a whole different flow of energy if you would just get to hear. Try telling anyone who says, my situation is, my problem is, any advice. Most of us, especially these days, don't want to hear it from someone else. It's very real to us. So it's only up to you to own your situation, to own your path, to own where you're putting yourself. How about this? Where you put your focus is where you put your focus. Just trust that angels are going to come in, the right angels. And if you want to get to know them by name, see them full on, you can do it. It's just, you're going to have to walk yourself through the letting go process. I think it's enough to just smell a flower on your walk in the morning, pause by a beautiful tree or bush, hibiscus. You took a moment to appreciate life. Life is about all the little charms of life, the little moments. And the more you get living, the more all the chips fall into place, the more this all makes sense, the more it doesn't have to be about the woo-woo spiritual. You got to do it this way. You got to do it that way. So let angels do their job. Find a way to get out of your own way. My only rule or structure is just asking angel, if you want to put your hand on your heart, ask angels to help you out of your head into your heart. Own it with an amen, thank you, Om Sai Ram if you're from India, or rock and roll. It has to be your way, and it has to be real intent from the heart. You want help. You're not hesitating. You're not hedging. You're not wondering if this is real. You've got to be in your heart. How do you eat a salad that you're really looking forward to, or your favorite soup, or your best cup of coffee? You're ready.
Great advice. Now, what are the best angels to call in when we're exhausted? Because sometimes we're just really tired and it takes a lot of energy to heal.
For me, I bring in like Joy and Charlotte. But if you're in a pinch, you're going to start asking archangels, which there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of us start to think when we make a request, oh, I don't want to take up their time. And these are very human reactions. I don't want to waste anybody's time. I'm not sure. Just ask for help, whether it's an archangel, an angel, one of your relatives, all the above. Just be like, hey, all my angels plus 100 extra others. Come in here. I need a big hug. I need wind in my sails. I need my batteries recharged. I need a lighter perspective. And I need great sleep before bed. When you wake up in the morning, there are two of the most powerful times. Just whenever you can remember to remember, if you remember. That's the way to put it. Good luck with this. You might go an entire month. You might think that what Catherine said today or what I said today is absolutely fantabulous, and you're off to the races with angels, but you hit a rough patch, and the next thing you know, a month goes by and you forgot it all. We forget everything as humans. You had it as a kid. You had it as an artist. You had it when you were in high school or college. Maybe it was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, last week. But then there's a point where you think you don't have it. Athletes and slumps. And that's what I'm trying to say. There's ebbs and flows in life. A lot of times it'll feel external. That's what it's about on earth is, we've got little bumps in the road. How you react to it, how you handle it, how you get back on the horse. That's everything. And as Geronimo would say, grab the mane of the horse, ride, 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 ride. Don't look left, don't look right, and don't look behind. Be you. Discover your unique life path. Don't shy away from it. It's going to maybe feel like a leap off of a cliff, a leap of faith, religious, non-religious, but it's really the leap from here to here. You were meant to do something really cool and incredible that you love, that you're passionate about. Don't be fearful of it. This is the entire point of living. I mean, if you want to stick to the stranger level and hugs and the little things, that's fine too.
Great advice. Now, Michael Andre Ford, Angel Intuitive. I like to talk to my angels every morning. And how I do it is I have a little ritual. I start out with a Lord's Prayer, and then I pray. I have a list of people that I pray for, and I go through each person one by one. And then I may pray for, like right now I'm praying for people in Turkey and Syria and, people around the world who I know are distressed. And then I call in my angels one by one. Because again, I know where they are in my field. I know what they do. I call them in one by one, and then I listen to them. What do you have to say to me? And what I like to do the most is I like to bring out my journal. I write at the top of a page, Guardian Angels Say, or Guardian Angel Says, and then I just literally channel, and it may be a page. Sometimes it's a word, like my word for today was peace. So I know that means that today I need to be at peace. I need to give peace. I need to just hold that vibration. For our audience, in your professional opinion, when is the best time to talk to angels?
I loved everything you just said. Anytime is the right time. Good luck remembering. That's the opportunity. It's not a problem. We're always going to be busy. We have stuff that you could say 3 o'clock this afternoon. I'm going to sit down with my angels and just do one way. I'll put the questions down. I'll try to listen and everything else. But 5 o'clock arrives and you realize you never did it. You were suddenly cleaning the garage. You'd put it off for 2 years. Your ego, your psyche has a side to you that doesn't want the jig to be up. You've got all the dilemmas, the drama, the situations, the health issues. And then there's love. Love isn't about the details, but you can get all your details from angels. And what I was going to say, when you send prayers like words through the heart that are filled with love, prayer, requests, setting your intent, they're all synonymous in my book, but everyone has to say it their own way. So do it. Run any request through the heart on behalf of others. But I just heard for the first time in 11 or 12 years, the most amazing thing. When you send love prayers to others, send it to their angel team. They know what to do with it to get it to the person. And I was like, oh my God, I've never heard that in my entire life, because people all over the world are praying for other people for all different types of reasons. And I thought, that is brilliant. You're still giving love to the person, but that angel team is getting extra energy. It's extra intent, and angels can alter your path. Angels can do anything. From our perspective, they're pretty kick butt. And yet angels are still learning too. They're learning from us. They're in us and around us all the time. If you want to think interdimensional, that's great. But if you'd rather picture sort of invisible walking with you, hand on your shoulder, that's great too. There's no one way for any of this. That's really the thing. Don't get caught up on, you're not worthy, you're not sure, you can't do it. You're more capable than all the rest of us. If you're listening now, just kind of laugh about this. Having a good cup of tea is enough to bring in your whole angel crew. Think of it this way. You have no privacy. They sense your thoughts and everything else. You're not getting judged. Don't worry about you were watching a violent program and anything else. You're not getting judged. You're okay. You watch some James Bond action film. Don't worry about it. It's just pure love. It's unconditional love. No conditions. So it's really, when can you get to your heart? That twice a year moment when you're really wide open and you're like, oh, pointy bird, oh, pointy bird. And by the way, I need help. And I want to help Jane over in Argentina. And so send love, practice cultivating your own love and your own gentleness towards yourself, self-compassion, self-love, kindness. Humor goes a long, long, long way. And you can tell when someone's stuck a little bit when they make fun about the humor. They're like, oh, I don't like jokes. What are you doing laughing? This is the children's version of spirituality or religion or whatever. I'm afraid to say love is the fabric of the universe. Love, actually, the movie, love is what makes the world go round. You'll figure it out on your last breath when your whole life flashes before your eyes. My advice is not to wait. Get started living now.
Oh, great insights. And with that, let's take another break and listen to a message from one of our commercial sponsors here at UK Health Radio. And we'll be right back with Angel Intuitive Michael Andre Ford, learning about how we can heal ourselves with angels. So Michael Andre Ford, I really appreciate that you talk about the importance of being in your heart when you really want to communicate with your angels. And I like to talk to my angels first thing in the morning because it's quiet. And there's nobody else calling or texting or emailing or asking for anything. And I can actually hear and listen. And so sometimes, as you know, it's our thoughts that get in our way. It's our we have a belief about how things are in our life. We're very concrete in our thinking, and I personally think, as a medical intuitive healer, that issues on the mental level are often the hardest to heal because we are very set in the way about how things are. My father was a horrible person. My job sucks. I'll never get better. Those are thoughts that may not be serving you. Michael Andre Ford, when we are in mental overload, what angels are best to call on when our mind is too active and our mind's in the way?
First, you've got to call on your heart. You got to ring that doorbell to your own heart, dust off the cobwebs on the front door, kick the door open. Don't worry about the damage, to get into your own heart again. All the words in the world repeated over and over again are usually a little bit of negativity, neutrality, and not helping you at all. It's getting you more stuck, not less stuck. So there's some basic fundamental dynamic that being human, you knew it as a kid, you lost it as an adult. All the adulting, the problems, my situation is, my drama is, I don't like Jane over there. This relationship sucks. I don't have a loved one. Da 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 da. This happened to me. All that stuff. There's something from the neck up called thinking, call it mind, unconsciousness, drama, reacting, fear, stress, worry. We talked about it. Then there's something down below called love, consciousness, awareness. And awareness is empowering. You cannot give a hug to a dog or a loved one, or get a hug or score a soccer goal when you're letting go without being in your heart. Everything cool that's ever happened to you, that ever will happen to you, is in your heart. So if you want more cool and fun stuff and more health and more vitality, get to your heart. That's what you've got to learn first. Now, if you're not so sure about it, you got 2 adult. You could be 59. You could be 39. You could be 19 and still have lost your heart. Find your heart. Ask for the universe to help. Ask for angels to help. You want to use religious figures. You want to ask Mother Teresa. You want to ask Plato. You want to ask a Native American chief, Geronimo, Dull Knife, Red Shirt. You want to ask your relatives to kick it into gear and to help you on your personal journey back to your heart. The second you're here and recognize the difference between wasting energy up here, and I don't mean a lot of wasting, you're still going to think. We're not going to go immediately enlightened. It's not in the cards for humanity. So we're back to that 7% less thinking a week is plenty. Get a calculator out. What is that? 2 hours and 15 minutes a day. Just less thinking. Do some yoga, read a book, take a walk, take a breath. Taking a single breath is what we forget most, especially when we're worried about getting fired, a health issue. We don't even think taking a breath could possibly help the situation. It's like some of those war movies when they say, "Sir, would you like a cup of tea?" Right in the middle of battle. Mortars are coming down, shells. The commander looks at his adjutant and says, "Why are you offering me a cup of tea? I figured it couldn't hurt." That's it for all of us. We're in the middle of bullets flying, drama, everything else. Get to your heart, have a cup of tea. Then when you can take a breath and you recognize who you are, you're infinite here. Look in a mirror and tell yourself you love yourself 50 times. If you don't start laughing or shedding a tear or feeling the vibe by the 100th time, yeah, then maybe you're really stuck. But you should be able to eventually, really telling yourself you love yourself in the mirror, you should be able to rediscover your amazingness as to who you are. You never lost it, by the way. It's there. If you have to get a duster to make yourself laugh in front of the mirror, just dust yourself. Keep saying I love you, and at some point address Archangel Michael. Get started. Talk to your angels. Talk to that lost, passed over loved one. They're 100% with you. Most of them are reconciled. You can get a hug. You can feel love. And then you can start putting requests out on particular situations and so on. But to get your orientation back, you've got to be able to find this, and you've got to be able to breathe, smile, relax, touch a tree, enjoy nature, and realize you never lost a beat. It's all here right now. You don't have to go to an ashram in India. You don't have to say this. You don't have to do that. Tons of different folks out there can show you this, but you are your own best instructor, and the experience you're having right now is also the best instruction.
Great information. Now, as you know, we all call in our angels in different ways. A lot of times I'll just say angel spirit guides. I'll call them in. And for example, when I'm doing healing work, I call in my angels and I call in the angels of the person that I'm doing healing work with. What is the best technique that you like for calling in your angels?
I just address them and ask them to be with me. I mean, I'll do before a run, I'll be like, "Hi," and use their names and be like, "Can you protect me, help ground me?" And it's funny, I've only said it 4,000 times and I've forgotten my own phrase. The real point of this is you come up with your own. Be like, "Hey, this is what I want to have happen. I want love. I want to feel better. I want some protection. My boundaries," because I'm very sensitive. So I don't like, if I get a hug from someone, I usually pick up their emotions. So I want boundaries. I want to be anything that doesn't serve on me, lift it off. You have to find your own language that resonates your way. So ask for angels to get in here, clean up the house. That's usually this. Help you be in your heart more, not take things too seriously. Have a great run. For me, it's, how do I go and not think so much on the run? Or in the shower is a great time too, to take stock and be like, "Hey, can I get 5 waves of healing right now?" You tend to be pretty open in a shower. I don't know anybody who gets into a hot shower and comes out more upset.
Great insight. Now, when we suffer from a wounded spirit, which angels are best to call on? And let me back up, because the way that I look at a being, a human, is we have 5 levels of healing: the physical level, which you know what that is, the energy level, which includes your chakras, your breath, and your acupuncture system, the emotional level, which is the largest part of us, the mental level, which is your thoughts, beliefs, your mental operating system, all the mental garbage, right? Your beliefs, whether they're true or not true. And then finally, your eternal self. And sometimes we suffer wounds that are so deep, they seem to go to the level of our soul. So, Michael Andre Ford, when we suffer from a wounded spirit, in your professional opinion, which angels are best to call on?
Okay, now, not to disagree with anything, this is just the way I view a soul, and this is me getting out of my league here because I don't know much. I couldn't do basic definitions that everyone listening or watching could do in a heartbeat. I'm slow. So the soul to me is just on an expansion love path. It's already there with love. It's cheering you on. It's available, your higher self, whatever you want to call it. Yes, there might be like karmic stuff or past life stuff hanging over you, or something major happened that you haven't let go of for 20 years. So, and I got a bunch of stress on that one. So there's stuff out there. There's stuff that can resonate with you. Where you put your focus is where you put your focus. So if it's something that's harsh, try to just let it go, get it addressed by angels, have angels come in, ask which angels want to come in and address the situation. To do that in the first place, you've got to have a relationship with at least one angel, your guardian angel, Michael. You've got to find a way to get beyond the outbounding. The Winnie the Pooh thing. Everyone talks to animals, no one listens. That's the problem. But I would say that's the opportunity. So Winnie the Pooh talked about how we all talk to animals, we don't bother to listen. That's what we're doing right now. Every one of us is talking about every situation. I can't believe that happened at work. I can't believe John, my cousin, is such a jerk. We're not allowing for a broader experience. We're creating with energy all the time. So when we slap labels on others, we don't realize we're creating negative energy and swimming in it, living in it, breathing it in. And we wonder why we get sick and everything else. So it's cultivating an awareness of being in the heart and being conscious of how you're spending your energy. And then if you're good enough to get that far, trust that there are beings just beyond the human experience ready to help us, within us, around us, that know our entire life path already, maybe knew us in our past lives as well. So if you're at that spot of allowing, why not then ask, hey, which one of my angels, get to know a couple. Hey, are you there? Feel a hand on your shoulder. Get a wind in the room. Smell Maui, the ocean in Hawaii. Get a floral smell. Get a perfume smell. Meet Audrey Hepburn. Have her bring you an uninvented Paris perfume that knocks your socks off. After that, be like, hey, which angel is yelling, me, pick me for that healing assignment? Half the time when you think of a situation as a human, you're just creating more drama. You may be told, hey, go for a walk and let it go. Let us do the heavy lifting. So they all have big shoulders, big wheelbarrows. The way I've found humans to roll in 10 or 11 years, a couple thousand folks, is we generate a lot of stuff that just isn't that important. The second you get to your heart, it shrinks in size. Take a breath, smile, realize that the flow of life, like the Force in Star Wars, is in you, around you, it is. And all you have to do is plug back in, and it's like ice. It melts, it drops down in size. Your snowman was 5 feet, 3 meters tall. Now it's just a couple centimeters.
Great insights. And I agree with a lot of what you're saying, that, what we focus on is actually what expands. And it's my experience as a medical intuitive healer with now 29 years experience in natural healing, that a lot of times something that appears to be traumatic and PTSD and the worst thing that ever happened to you on a soul level is actually the greatest thing that ever happened to you. And it's just a matter of changing our perspective on it. Now, when we have seem to have exhausted our attempts at physical healing, because so many people try and they feel like they're not getting anywhere, how can we turn to angels for our next steps in our healing journey?
Great question. And let's back up too and look at that last little bit, because you get dealt a hand if we're talking Texas Hold'em or poker. You look and you see you see a 2, a 4, and a 5, and whatever else, a low hand. That low hand, it's not a one-dimensional approach to everything, which is what we take for everything, including illness and what we think our situation is. It's a game in which you can create aces. that low hand is actually all aces and a winning hand, because all you have to do is flip the pancake, flip the situation. It's not my problem is, my drama is, my health crisis is. It's my opportunity for growth. Now, you may have to ask, well, what is my opportunity for growth? What are the dynamics going on? And that's where healers like Catherine Carrigan here help out tremendously. They don't just necessarily pull in angels to help get the job done, but they shed a light on the situation. They shed a light in such a way that your awareness grows and you go, oh my, I've been wasting a lot of energy and time doing the same old thing, expecting some sort of a different outcome. And you're getting sicker and sicker, frustrated. Welcome to being human. The being side of human being, you hear that all the time, is being here and recognizing there are no limits. So the illness, all the obstacles, everything else are there for a reason. When do you want to start paying attention? And what are you going to pay attention to? The mind's going to want to take you in a totally different direction, get you into a new illness, a new relationship where you'll get divorced 2 years later. How do you love yourself so much that the playing field goes so level that suddenly you're having a really good time and you've learned to bring in the next amazing experience? It doesn't mean you can't have a car wreck 5 years later. You were moving too fast one day, or you needed a reminder, or you signed up for that car wreck the prior lifetime. The point of this is, when are you going to get going, loving more, allowing more, and switching your perspective? As Wayne Dyer said, when you change your perspective, you mentioned it before, everything you look at changes.
Now, Michael Andre Ford, as someone who channels angels all day long, really, what are some of the common messages that you hear that are coming through from the angels for healing now at this time?
Oh my God, I'm like a whipped horse on this. I can answer this blindfolded. So look, I mean, I need to hear stuff, and I think most people do at least 100 times. I'm going to say 1,000. So it'll be stay the course, trust more, worry less, smile more, worry less, breathe more, think less. This is especially 10, 11, 8 years ago. But I mean, I have to mention Geronimo, who's the sweetest. If you see his older photo on the first page of michaelandreford.com, if you see his older photo, he's a pussycat. He'll feel like a tiger if you meet him and see a younger photo. Tough. He's action. But I mean, I was asking about manifesting. I'm still learning everything that everyone here out there listening, watching thinks that they have to learn or to do. And you have it all within. You're already an incredible healer. You can already help yourself be whole again because you never were not whole. You're going to think there's something lacking. Get over it. Walk away from it. Change it. Or ask a healer to help, but don't put too much dependence that way, because the more you just breathe, smile, and relax, the more you flow. So here I was asking about manifesting. Am I a good manifester? And Geronimo is the funniest. He'll curse a little bit. He's the only one that's slang, not formal, proper, yes, no, out of 100.
Yes. And
Jesus, sweet Jesus, yes, for the answer on can I manifest? So
there was a little blip in the internet there. So that was wonderful. So Michael Andre Ford, final question for people who practice healing work, because many of our listeners are practicing all kinds of natural healing. How can we call on angels or teams of angels to assist us when we're healing others?
You do exactly that. You just make sure that you're setting your intent, you're sincere in the moment, you're married to the moment. And the moment is nothing more than taking a breath and the oneness of life, the interconnectedness of all. It's not mankind living 7 billion different lives. There's only one like mutual life. We're all interconnected. Let's do it this way. Geronimo once said, many questions, one answer. And it's love. So healers and others are so fantastic. They know what they know, but all of us are still in an expanding learning path. So if a healer out there thinks they can't heal with their hands, they only need to ask for it. They first have got to get out of that situation they think they're in. Well, I only heal when I do this and my hand up in the air. I don't do it this way. You can ask and do it this way. Just get over the preferences. It's like switching sports teams. I didn't say that in the UK. But how you root. Let's do New York football. You don't have to be a New York Jets football fan the whole time. Go New England Patriots. If you move, it becomes easier to change. When you look back, it made sense. You moved to Arizona, it's the Cardinals. But this is what I'm talking about. There's so much up here that is just extra, and it's kind of a waste of energy. It's up to you Just sort stuff out, keep it simple, keep it real, keep it easy, and keep it real easy and real simple. More love, more allowing, more asking, and more delivery from outside of ourselves, beautiful, or from within, beautiful energy, beautiful light.
Great information. And I know for myself, when I'm doing healing work, I call on my angels and the angels of the person that I'm working with. And then what's quite interesting is I'll be doing whatever I'm doing. And then if I watch in my inner vision, I watch the angels. And it's quite interesting because they do whatever they do. I'm not telling them what to do. And I just observe it. It's so fun. You've been listening to the Natural Healing Show for UK Health Radio. I'm your host, Catherine Carrigan, medical intuitive healer, Amazon #1 bestselling author. You can find out more about me and my work at catherinecarrigan.com and unlimitedenergynow.com. While you're there, definitely sign up for my newsletter so you can learn even more about how you can heal yourself naturally. Our guest today has been the really fun angel intuitive Michael Andre Ford, author of Listening to Angels and host of the podcast Angels, Positivity, and Love. You can find out more about Michael Andre Ford and his wonderful work at his website, michaelandreford.com. And remember, angels surround you every day, 24/7, and all you have to do is ask them for help with your healing. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.